right, I just tried to stream and all you guys were saying that there was no sound. Can you hear me this time? Let me see if I can be heard. Okay, I don't know why you couldn't hear me last time. All right, again, I'm just so annoyed with everything right now. So I was ranting about just how pathetic our nation is on so many levels. Again, you go outside, everybody's obese. The children are obese. Families shopping together with carts full of soda and ice cream. You know, getting their car with their Trump bumper sticker. And you're like, no wonder. No fucking wonder these people are voting for things like Donald Trump or just any of these great candidates. Just no education, no nutrients in their body. Just pathetic fucking people. And on top of that, totally spineless. Think about it, guys. Right now, everyone knows that the puppet Musk is essentially the brains of this administration. And what did puppet Musk do on Inauguration Day? He did a double fucking Nazi salute. A double Nazi salute in the United States of America. Of course, the nation where we did bring over the Nazi scientists and Operation Paperclip back in 1945, something that most have no clue about. But again, this is a nation that has been taught over and over that Nazis were the worst things ever. Yet somehow here we are in 2025 and the brains of the administration can do a double Nazi salute and there's almost not a single peep from anybody in the country about it. You would think that within an hour he would have been booted by the president saying, oh, I can't have this. This is bad for public relations. This is a bad look for the whole administration. But no, almost nothing from anybody. And not to mention that little scumbag who supposedly runs Twitter. Everyone's been getting deleted off the platform who called out the Nazi salute, including yours truly. Never been censored on there before. Like I said, as soon as he took over the thing, there was already all kinds of new censorship. You couldn't use the phrase synagogue of Satan anymore. That blocked your post. That was considered hate speech to use the phrase synagogue of Satan. Again, things got wild as soon as he took it over, but then to get deleted for calling out the Nazi salute. It's so symbolic, though, of the times we live in. Just how nobody speaks up. People will literally go along with anything. You got this, this fat orange slob. People think he's going to be the great American hero when they forget what happened the last time he was in office. He's off to a great fucking start, too, with his tariffs, escalating the cost of everything for everybody when it's already through the roof. And how did it get through the roof? It happened because of the policies that were made in the last time he was president. Printing money, going along with the scandemic out of Switzerland. It's just such a joke. People could possibly... It's a joke to think that one American possibly think Donald Trump was going to be the fucking savior. This is the guy who, again, went along with the Switzerland scandemic, who was literally in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum, the same one that simulated the scandemic the day the first case was confirmed in the U.S. And if you haven't read my book about this, you should, because then you'll understand just how big of puppets these people are. But again, if this was a nation that had balls and intelligence, everyone would be talking just like yours truly right now. They wouldn't be falling for any of these puppets or any of this bullshit. And remember, I was doing tutorials in 2020 on how to be an American and not go along with all the bullshit. How to not wear a mask when you went in a store. How to not comply to what the authorities were telling you to do. How to just march past the line in Costco and go in and shop like a member like you did pre-scandemic. And of course, I did do that video for how to shop at Costco without following their bullshit policies. And I did get a letter in the mail, a week later canceling my membership or letting me know that my membership had been canceled. But you know what? That's what everyone should have done. We should have put Costco out of business. We should have put all these stores out of business. Again, because we're a nation of spineless twats, idiots who just follow bullshit orders. Literally, pussies. Again, they even told you on the nightly news the thing was over 99.9% survivable. In what world is that scary? That's the same survivability as the rest of the flu. And of course, that's what the cooties was coined as when it was coined in 1968. It was coined as seasonal flu. And again, if people weren't inept, they would know all of these things. But instead, for knowing these things, what this society does is they call you a conspiracy theorist. It's like, what am I saying that's a conspiracy theory? It was coined as seasonal flu in 1968. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's a fact. A fact. An F-A-C-T. You know what wasn't facts? Any of the shit they gave you in the time of the scandemic. Wearing a mask, did that do anything? No, that was jack shit. Standing 6 feet apart, did that do anything? No, that was bullshit. Those safe and effective jabs, is that what they were? Or did they cause all kinds of problems for all kinds of people? Some people are 6 feet under. Some got myocarditis. Some got turbo cancer. Some have other heart problems, heart arrhythmias and all this shit. Again, if you were on things, you would have seen this coming before it happened, just like how we were out in front of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation March 13, 2013, warning about all this, because Bill Gates himself talked about in 2010 at his TED Talk how in 10 years he had a plan to mass vaccinate the world, and he gave that speech a few days apart from, again, his TED. Hold on, not to confuse two things. He was at the World Economic Forum in 2010 talking about his plan, his decade of vaccines to mass vaccinate the world in a decade. That would have been 2020. Remember, he pledged $10 billion to mass vaccinate in a decade. And Bill Gates has super multiplied his wealth a lot more than he did as a Microsoft guy in his 33 years at Microsoft and the time he's been doing the jabs. But again, that World Economic Forum speech that he gave in 2010 was days apart from his TED Talk, where he talked about how we need to reduce carbon emissions, and he said we can do it this way, or this way, and one of his ways was by reducing the population. And what was his first method for reducing the population? He said if we do a good job with pokey-dokes. And see, the dipshits, I mean, we were out on the streets of Seattle before the pokey-doke even came out. Morons would come up to us. We were doing live streams educating about this, showing how to speak out in public in cities like Seattle and get this information out in front of people. But you'd have these same inept morons come up to you and go, come on, man, you know that's not what he meant. What the fuck else did he mean? If we do a good job with VACCINES, we can reduce the population. That's exactly what he fucking said. How else do you interpret that? How else can that be interpreted? I had these assholes coming up, well, I think what he meant is, like in Africa, people are dying from disease and illness, so if you jab them, then that's going to reduce the population. I mean, shut the fuck up. All these morons just trying to dismiss what is right in front of your face. A big middle finger from Big Brother and all these authority types that are on the world stage every single fucking day. And, the thing that makes me absolutely sick is just to think that I was 18 years old when this 21st century got underway, back when the towers were being turned to dust in midair. And I was saying to people back then, I was saying, listen, nothing about this day makes sense. Nothing about this day makes sense. I didn't know Gematria back then. The types of thing I knew about was, what was the think tank that became the Bush administration? Project for a New American Century, PNAC. Yeah, look it up. Project for a New American Century. These people wrote a document before they even became the administration, before Bush took office, about how they needed a Pearl Harbor-like event to get the war going back in the Middle East that wasn't finished with the first Bush administration. Look this up if you don't know this stuff. PNAC, Project for a New American Century, calling for a new Pearl Harbor. What do we get in the first year of the Bush administration? Kamikaze pilots, like in Pearl Harbor, flying into the World Trade Center. So we're told. I actually think if you look into it, you're going to find out that's not exactly what happened either. Especially since the first image put out was clearly a computer glitch of a plane flying all the way through the World Trade Center. Again, if you don't know those things, it's not a conspiracy theory, it's a fact. See, that's what's maddening, that we live in this age of information, and all these facts, morons think they're all conspiracy theories because they haven't done any fucking research, because they've been listening to voices like Anderson Cooper, who's probably getting bent over by Don Lemon or somebody else like Don Lemon right now, a guy who takes it in his gaping asshole, aka not somebody you want to take advice from or respect or listen to. But again, New Pearl Harbor. They literally wrote books about 9/11 and called it the New Pearl Harbor. What buildings fell in New York? Buildings 1, 2, and 7. What is the date of Pearl Harbor? December 7th. 127. Not to mention Pentagon construction began on September 11th in 1941, right before the Pearl Harbor event. And again, those were the targets that day, right? DC, the Pentagon. And remember what blew up too, or where the plane flew, and it flew into the area right where they had just finished doing a major update. And I'm guessing in that update, what they actually did was planted a bunch of bombs there, because to this day, there's no evidence that there was any plane. But also just about being inept, right? Inept and just totally incompetent and not seeing the forest for the trees and what's right in front of your face. What's his face? God, he died and got away without any justice. The Secretary of Defense at the time. Oh my God, I got the United States of amnesia. The guy who said, we know where the weapons of mass destruction are. They're in the areas north, south, east, and west of Baghdad. Oh, they're fucking everywhere. I can't believe I can't think of that guy's name right now. Somebody in the chat will think of his name. He's dead and gone. No justice for that guy. But again, the day before 9/11 happened, look up what the front page of the New York Times was the day of September 11th. Because he said it the Monday before. He said it on September 10th. He came out and he said that the Pentagon had lost $2 trillion. $2 trillion. Like, how's it even possible? What he said is they couldn't account for $2 trillion. $2 trillion was missing. And then what did he say? He said the Pentagon's going to have to become completely transparent. It's killing me right now. In the back of my mind, I'm trying to figure out that guy's name, and it's like the first time in my life I realized I can't think of his damn name. Anyway, he said the Pentagon would have to become transparent, its budget, because this was $2 trillion at the time. I mean, was a lot more than it is now. You know, inflation's made $2 trillion seem like a lot less. But that is a lot of taxpayer dollars unaccounted for. $2 trillion. Again, understand what to put money in perspective. Most people in America will never see anywhere near $1 million in their life. $1 billion is 1,000,000 1,000 times. So that's just like incomprehensible to the average person. And then $1 trillion is 1,000 billion. So they lost they couldn't account for $2 trillion, and they just happened to announce that to you. You know, you never heard anything like this in your life, but it just happens to come out. That fucker's name was Donald Rumsfeld. Donald Rumsfeld, the Secretary of Defense. Donald Rumsfeld tells you this the day before 9/11. And then again, I was 18 years old, looking at the collapse, which, I mean, everybody saw it a million times. All these showed. I was trying to escape it. I wanted to watch something else. I turned on ESPN that day. They're showing the same shit on ESPN. And the next thing you know, it's 9/11, Patriot Act, Patriots. It's like, oh, I see why they're showing it all day on 9/11. They're setting up your NFL future for the next years. But yeah, national emergency on 9/11. And again, nobody looks into anything. I'm 18 years old trying to figure out what the hell's going on in this country. How is the first Republican president since the last one, the son of the last one? That doesn't seem democratic. Sounds like the land of kings and queens. And then how does this building just turn into dust? Literally turn into dust in Manhattan, you know, Manhattan Project, nuclear bombs, Ground Zero terminology from the Manhattan Project. But again, how does this stuff happen and nobody's questioning it? Everything's just a coincidence. These are like what, 1 in a million coincidences, back-to-back days. 911 made the emergency dialing code in the same year World Trade Center construction began, in the same year that George W. Bush graduated from college. What are the odds of these things? And it all happens to just be 33 years apart, when 33 is so significant to this all-important secret society that the nation's capital is named after, the Masons, the Masonic city. Skull and Bones is a Masonic order like all fraternities are. The fact that all of this shit has gone on and almost nobody has questioned a word of it, and instead the people who have questioned have been demonized and ridiculed and called names and told to leave the country. Well, get out of America then. Get out of America then. It's like, again, the people here driving around in their big pickup trucks lifted with the flags in the back with their Trump stickers, these are really the least American people there ever were. And they think, because they're flag waving, that they're some kind of great fucking patriot. Yeah, Trump, right? You're a proud rifle owner. What did Trump say about guns? His exact quote after Stoneman Douglas was, I like take the guns first, due process second. That means he doesn't support the Second Amendment. He also doesn't support the First Amendment, which means he's not a fucking American. And then all these fucking losers, they think what you do is when there's a problem, you run away from it. That's called a pussy. That's called a loser. This is a nation of fucking pussies and losers. Trust me, I can speak on it, because I've been speaking out against this tyranny and this bullshit, and all I've mostly been greeted with from the general public is these fucking loser responses. Inept fucking retards. It's sickening. It's sickening. And then just how dumb everyone is, how little they know about everything. Notice, every person I've had this discussion with online who's a supposed Trump person, none of them know who Adam Smith is. None of them know what Wealth of Nations is. None of them get the jokes of what Trump's doing right now with his little tariff rituals, imposing tariffs for the first time exactly 47 weeks after the anniversary of the publishing of Wealth of Nations. Again, what's written about in Wealth of Nations with tariffs? They're the surefire way to destroy your nation, other nations. They're a surefire way to instigate war. They're a surefire way to destruction.
At the stop sign, turn left onto North Gap Road toward...
And again, the average moron's response right now would be like, well, I still think he's better than Joe Biden. Listen, these people in the Oval Office, they're all puppets. They're all symbols. Joe Biden was symbolic of this nation's crippling infrastructure, on how outdated its systems are on so many different levels. That's why they have him going to Pittsburgh to talk infrastructure and the bridge falls down. And let's not forget that was January 28th, right? 128. And in Gematria, bridge collapse equals 128, like Fern Hollow. And then last year, we're coming up on the anniversary of the bridge collapse at 1:28 a.m., 128 days from Francis Scott Key's birthday, and also 128 days from Biden's. And see, that's what drives me nuts, too. That's the kind of shit that should be viral in the truth community. Everyone should be getting this thing that they do by this ABC 123 code synced up with the dates, because they literally do it every fucking day. And we live in a society where people use literally all the time when they're not talking literally. I'm talking literally. These fuckers do this every fucking day. And they leave us with a big fat bill every time. More taxes for you to pay. More rights to be taken away. More reason for a surveillance state. Trump, what do they call it? The Stargate Project. Yeah, look into it. The last Stargate project by the federal government was 47 years ago, and it was led by a guy born in 47. Again, it's just another 47 ritual for the chump. But again, you got Larry Ellison of Oracle, who's one of the faces of it and who spoke the most, and he didn't make the same remarks he made in September at Oracle's annual meeting, but everybody should go back and watch what he talked about, how there's going to be this big push in AI, and they're going to be able to build the perfect surveillance state where he sees everybody having to wear a camera, being made to wear a camera, so they can keep every last fucking thing under the watchful eye of government, and he says it'll bring about, everybody's best behavior. Listen, everything has a good and a bad. You know what? I wouldn't say that everyone having a camera on them would be all the way bad. I could name a few things that would make it good too. But ultimately, is this what we want? A total fucking surveillance state where the government watches every last thing? And realize that's what they've been building since 9/11. The Patriot Act was foundational laws to build a surveillance state where you are tracked and surveillanced, and the government has the right to look into all your shit. Again, these things all go against what the U.S. was. The whole 21st century has been a movement against everything the United States of America was ever supposed to be. But now they're literally telling you, they're putting it right out in front of you. Yeah, we've got the technology. We're almost there. This is going to be a full-on surveillance state. And again, people are cheering for this chump administration, flag-raving patriots thinking that, yeah, this is it. No, all of you guys who support this shit are fucking inept morons. You need to pull your fucking head out of your ass. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic. You shouldn't be invested in either party. They're both completely sold out. And I shouldn't have to tell you this. And again, if you're somebody out there who calls people conspiracy theorists for pointing out fucking facts, you're a fucking loser. You're what's wrong. That term conspiracy theorist was invented by your government that is working against you so that anybody who points out Big Brother's atrocities, they can be demonized and labeled this conspiracy theorist. It's fucking pathetic. This nation is full of pathetic people. Really dumb fucking people that believe total fairy tales and bullshit stories like the official story for 9/11, which makes zero fucking sense. The Cooties 19 scandemic. I mean, total fucking losers fell for that. My grandfather died in a hospital on a respirator. Yeah, I don't doubt that, dumbass. You know why he did? Because you sent him to the hospital where he purposely got killed on the respirator, where a lot of them had 201 on the side of the fucking machine, like Event 201 was the simulation. This Big Brother government doesn't want to pay for their Social Security Ponzi scheme, and they wanted to get a lot of old people out of here, which is mostly what that virus took out. Old and obese. Again, this nation needs to pull its head out of its ass before we're all 6 feet under. Look at the populace. Obese, pathetic, limp dick. Clearly limp dick because every other ad is a limp dick ad. Just listen to the radio too. All these ads about how you'll hardly have any testosterone after you're 40. That might be true if you don't take care of yourself and you eat like shit. I'm over 40. I haven't lost an inch of testosterone. I'm exactly the same as I was when I was 20. Well, maybe your body recovers a little bit faster from injuries when you're a little bit younger, but not much different. The point is, you're being fed lies from every angle. The reason you have a limp dick and no testosterone is because you're eating a dog shit diet, which is sanctioned by that food pyramid, which is another lie. You're looking at all, again, I got to wrap up this stream because I'm back home, but it is just such a frustrating time to be alive and to just realize how bad it is. What the populace looks like, the lack of intelligence, the lack of ability to think, worshiping fucking goons that are selling this nation down the toilet faster and faster with purposeful acts of destruction as they point fingers and blame it at other things when it should really just be pointed back at them. Had you had a real leader in power when Cooties 19 came around, they would have been like yours truly, saying, F you, Switzerland, we're not Europe, we're not a bunch of fairy fruitcakes. We're not scared of the 99.9% survivable flu. No, we're not ending our American way of life. We're not instituting curfews and lockdowns and lines to shop in the store. I can't forget everything I said the first time around, but if you guys weren't watching me back then, I was doing tutorials on how to shop at these stores without complying with all the bullshit. And again, Costco did cancel my membership, but you know what? That was perfect. Had everybody been like me and they canceled everybody's membership, they would have went out of business. Would have been righteous to put all these fascist corporations enforcing these bullshit policies out of business. Replace them with some people that actually have American spirit. So yeah, anyway, I got to hop off, but I do just got to rant about how pathetic this nation is. And again, everybody who uses the phrase conspiracy theorist, this nation is a fucking conspiracy. Your government is conspiring against you every single fucking day. They're collapsing towers, they're collapsing bridges, American way of life. They're instigating all kinds of chaos so that you can pay for it and give up your rights and liberties as you fall for their bullshit and tricks. So anyhow, I'm going to leave it there, Truth Seeker. And until next time.